All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here today for this event. My name is David Erickson. I oversee the community development and economic education functions here at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, and we're just thrilled to have you here. There is no more important topic than combating poverty among youth, and so we're focusing today on the Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, but I think a lot of the ideas that we sort of hit upon today and the things that the insights we are able to uncover and the connections we're able to make, I think have relevance for the whole country. So couldn't thank you enough for taking the time out of your schedule to meet with us here. Just to give you a quick overview, this meeting is really sort of under the auspices of our community development department. We oversee investing and all kinds of efforts to improve the lives and the economic opportunities for low-income Americans across the country. This bank, Federal Reserve Bank of New York, really focuses on our district, which is the New York State, parts of Connecticut and New Jersey, and also the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico. So I want to just sort of talk to you a little bit about the space that you're in right now. So it's a beautiful space. It's hard to get into, so apologize for that. There's a lot of gold in the basement, so that's part of the issue. More gold in the basement than any other place on Earth, by the way. So that's part of the problem. But I want you to be very clear that you own this space. This is paid for by your tax dollars, more or less. And it used to be a public space, actually. This was a place, if you see the wall, it's kind of an unusual spot, but you see the wall, there's sort of this perimeter, and you'll see little windows inside, and this is an area where people could come into the bank and buy savings bonds on this side. On the other side, where bankers would come to those teller windows. And in fact, if you get a chance to, if you use the bathroom, or I encourage you at some point during the reception to sort of wander around some of the exhibits in our museum, you'll see a window like these windows, which was actually was known as the discount window, which is we used to be an actual window, but of course it's a tool now for banks in stressful periods to access the sort of liquidity that the Federal Reserve can provide. But that was an actual window. It is a place where we are hoping to have many more events and really activate it again as a public space, but as a place where we can sort of share ideas and make connections and really tackle some of the most serious issues facing our society today. Of course, today's topic is square in that target. What we will be doing is we will have, you have your agendas, you have the bios for the speakers, so the moderators and those who are introducing the speakers in the course of the day won't go into detail about their background, so I encourage you to take a look at that. The type is a little small, and in my age, I'm having a hard time reading that, even with my glasses, but we'll have a magnifying glass we can pass around if you need it. And so, we would, there are those of us who are going to sort of exchange ideas and meet each other here in the room, but we'd like to involve people outside of this room as well. So if you are a user of Twitter, I encourage you to send some messages out, and if you could tag us at New York Fed is our handle, our Twitter handle. So please include that in any comment that you post. So with that, I'd like to introduce my colleague, Javier Silva, who has a deep commitment to Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands, has been doing amazing work there for over 10 years. And he and Marissa have been sort of the architects of this event today, who you will hear from later. But at this point, I'll hand it over to Javier. So thank you all again for coming.
Great, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. My role here is going to be MC, so I'm going to make sure that we transition quickly and are judicious with our time, so we want to get to the content. So I want to invite now Amanda Rivera Flores, who's the Executive Director of the Instituto del Desarrollo de la Juventud. Amanda is a tireless advocate for children in Puerto Rico. She's been instrumental in standing up the Institute and has raised incredible awareness among policymakers in Washington and in Puerto Rico, and with a few others on the island. She's really driving awareness around this issue. Amanda?
Good afternoon. I hope everyone's doing well. First of all, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here with us. I know there's a lot going on in the busy week, so for you to take 2 hours of your time to listen to us discuss this very important issue is something that does not go unnoticed. A little bit about the Youth Development Institute. We're a nonpartisan, nonprofit entity in Puerto Rico dedicated to improving the lives of children in Puerto Rico through changes in public policy. Because child poverty is, the rates of child poverty are so high in Puerto Rico, that's the main focus of our work. We know that unless we address this, our children and youth won't have the outcomes that they deserve. And in our advocacy work, after some time, we realized that unless we made a connection between addressing child poverty and economic prosperity, we really weren't going to see a lot of traction on this issue. It was something that was very obvious to us, but that perhaps is not something that comes to top of mind when people talk about issues of poverty. So this is why we did this report, which is one of the things that we're going to be presenting here, talking about how much it costs in dollars and cents for Puerto Rico to maintain the high levels of child poverty. And which is why we're also really excited to be able to do this in this forum in which we're usually talking about issues of economic development. If there's anything you can take away from today is that child poverty needs to be a part of, addressing child poverty needs to be a part of any economic development strategy. It is not exclusive to it. Even in context of austerity and fiscal crises, it needs to be invested in because it is part of the economic motor. It's the workforce that you'll have in the future, so if we don't take care of this now, it's going to have consequences in the long term. So once again, thank you for your time. We look forward to just starting this conversation and continuing it over the next weeks, months, and years. Thank you.